Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, in this video today, we are going to be talking about small retailers. I was gonna say small decor retailers, but sometimes they make big decor and small decor. Small retailers that are home decor retailers that I love. Okay, so on this channel, I'm always talking about IKEA and the West Elms and the Crate and Barrels and the CB2s and the Amazons and the Wayfairs and whatever. And I do that because I wanna make sure it's really accessible to all of you. So no matter where you live, you have access to these retailers to buy some of the product. But in this video, I thought, you know what? Let's not talk about the big ones and let's talk about some of the smaller retailers that are awesome, producing some really great things. And that's what I thought we'd highlight in this video. Now I will say, full disclosure, disclaimer right at the beginning, this stuff isn't cheap. And I did that kind of really ummed and ahed about how do I make it more accessibly priced for people, because I just know this stuff is quite expensive. And the reality is that a lot of these small retailers, the ones that I really like anyway, that I wanted to highlight, these are like craftspeople that produce these products themselves. They're never gonna have the scale of an IKEA, okay? So yes, IKEA is great, we love them too, but like these retailers are for those really special objects that are just really unique and interesting. You probably aren't gonna put your whole home from these retailers because it's really difficult to afford these price points, but they're just really exquisite pieces that these people work really hard in creating. And I thought, rather than, let's just own that, you know, like let's be unapologetic. This stuff isn't, you know, it's not going to be cheap, and that's okay. And if you can't, you know, maybe you don't want to spend as much money on some of these pieces, that's fine. It's just eye candy. Maybe you can find something elsewhere that is going to fit your budget. But I thought I would highlight these retailers because they're producing some amazing, handcrafted, beautiful quality pieces. Let's get going. So before I hop into today's video, I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Shopify, a company I have loved for many years. I'm a longtime user and fan of Shopify. Some of you may know that I actually owned a juice company way back in another life. And I started that company back in 2013 with Shopify. I've been a customer for many years. So I've been interacting with Shopify commerce platform for over 10 years. I'm very familiar with it. And more recently, I have also used Shopify to build my bathroom fixture company, Ollie Nickel, a company I actually led me to create this YouTube channel, basically. And Shopify made it really easy to add new products to my store and design a storefront that resonated with my brand. I had to upload a photo of the products. They didn't play around with the font, all those things, the description, the colors, all to get the exact look that I wanted. And I was able to do that really easily with Shopify. What I love about Shopify is its message of making commerce better for everyone. They make it simple for anyone to build their business, which is something I'm really passionate about as a small business owner for myself for many years now. So if you have a hobby or maybe an idea that you've been thinking about, now is the time to do it. So to get started on your free trial with Shopify, go to shopify.com/NickLewis. The link is down in the description. Thank you again, Shopify, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to a lot of those other small businesses, a lot of which are on Shopify, by the way, that I love. Okay, first small niche retailer, maybe you've never heard of, that I personally love is Huey Lighting. Huey Lighting, first of all, I have one of their little pieces back here. You see this little cutie little guy over here in the corner? Yeah, this is from Huey Lighting. I love this little retailer. They do lighting, which is not the easiest, I will tell you, knowing in the industry, it's not the easiest home decor niche to crack, okay? Lighting is a little bit different. You're dealing with electrical. It's not always the easiest thing to tackle. I would say going with something like, you know, dishes or some sort of like, you know, vases, maybe decor, is mugs. Like that's easier to hit than lighting. Lighting's a little bit tricky, but Huey Lighting managed to do it. All their stuff is handcrafted in Toronto. I love this little business. I love what they do. I personally do have their little Prairie lamp. It's the little mini Prairie lamp. They also have a little larger one as well, that's just super, super cute. I love that it's got this fluted shade. A lot of people think this is gonna be linen or something. It is not. This is actually a ceramic shade. I love the glow on this little, this thing is just adorable, right? It fits right into my little beigey brown sort of neutral earth tone sort of color scheme that I love, which is just sort of like my little area of the color wheel that I really enjoy. So I have it in the color Cloud, which is just sort of this creamy sort of beige, more cream than beige, I would say, but they also have sand and they have sage and they have like a few different colors on there. Again, this is a ceramic shade with this walnut base. This is just a cute little adorable little lamp, but I also love the other stuff they have too. They have these gorgeous sconces. They have the Prairie sort of light, also in a pendant, and they have them in these sconces. I love them in the sconces. I just think it's that little touch of like, it's fairly simple, but it just feels somewhat traditional. Doesn't it feel almost a little old fashioned in kind of the way that they've done it? I really love it. It's like, it's modern, but I don't know, it feels there's some sort of retro quality to some of their pieces. Some of their stuff leans a little bit more postmodern. It's got a lot of squiggles. You know, we've talked about postmodern extensively on this channel. I'm not always the biggest fan of the postmodern stuff. So if you like that, I think that they might have some pieces here that feel really sophisticated while still kind of embracing some of those postmodern trends. I just love, you know, light squiggles, you know me, I'm not like big heavy into some of the wrought iron squiggles that you're seeing all over the place, but I do really like these just little touches that they do here. I just think it's really clever. Love this little business. You know, everything is made by hand. Everything is made to order. So, you know, this isn't a lamp you're gonna like pick up and have by the weekend. It takes about 8 to 12 weeks, I think, is their lead time right now to get all their stuff. Well worth the wait if you're gonna invest in this beautiful little piece. Lighting is, as you all know from this channel, something that I'm a big fan of. I think it makes your place look a lot more luxurious, a lot more interesting. People don't invest enough, I think, in good lighting sources, especially versus just having the one boob light in the center of the room, but different lighting sources around the space. These cute little lamps that also feel very much like little decor pieces are just amazing. I love Huey Lighting, fabulous little shop. Okay, next up on my list is gonna be Barter Design. I've talked about Barter Design, I think probably a good year ago or so. I love their stuff. Their stuff it's got very much sort of a Japandi sort of vibe to it. By the way, also, can I just, before I get into this, like, in case it wasn't obvious, this is my favorite small retailer. So a lot of this is gonna be in my style. So if you don't like my style, like, that's cool. You're wrong, but you know, you do you. Everybody's got their own style. If you don't like my style, like, that's fine. I really don't care. But if you do, then you'll probably like the stuff on my list. And so Barter Design is no exception. It's definitely a lot of wood, a lot of concrete, a lot of stone, terracotta. They love natural materials, very simple, basic shapes. They've got, I think the piece that really jumps out at me is gonna be their smokestack stool, which comes in like an oak, it comes in a hemlock, I think, and also comes in this amazing like blackened finish, which is this burnt, basically, let's just call it as it is. And is it the most functional? Maybe, maybe not, but it's a beautiful stool, you can't deny that. I love the shape of it. I just think it's like so interesting. It's just got that little quirk that just makes it a little bit more fun rather than just having kind of a basic stool. And I love all the different finishes, and everything it's actually made, it's local to me, so it might not be local to you, but they're headquartered sort of right on the Sunshine Coast, which is like an hour and a bit away from where I live. And so they actually like take all the wood is like from their property, basically. So it's like, and oh, they do this thing where they have the stool, but then they stamp it with this really like copper on the side that has sort of the coordinates of exactly where the tree was from. Like, I don't know, that's cool, right? So no matter where you are, you kind of know like that's where the tree came from. I mean, IKEA isn't gonna give that to you, okay? They're not, Crate and Barrel's not telling you what tree fell in order to make your table. And I think that's really cool. You know, you get a piece that comes from these sort of artisans that create this gorgeous piece. It's sort of a collection, I think, of artists in different sort of niches. So they also do some really beautiful ceramics. They do all the wood stuff, the furniture stuff, which is really cool. They do lighting, which is again, not an easy, it's a tough nut to crack, that lighting. Everything is solid wood made by real people who touched it rather than sort of, I don't know, whatever IKEA's factories pumping out these lac tables. Do you know what I mean? Again, as I said at the beginning of the video, they're not cheap pieces. These are investment pieces for people that, you know, every time you look at that stool, you will have that stool for years and years. This is investment pieces that you're gonna hold on to for a very long time. Okay, next up is going to be Eternity Modern. So this is probably the one that I would put in the dupe sort of category of my favorites, but they're good. And I think, especially the stone, and I'll get to that in a second. I really love Eternity Modern. They were very inspired by other artists to create their work. I'll say that, they're inspired by, whatever that means to you. Is it a dupe? Is it a copy? That's up to you. But what they do well. And that is they take some of these really like vintage like pieces that have been around forever, right? They'll do a lot of reproductions. They do the reproduction of the Mario Bellini sofa, which I don't like, but that's okay. If you name it, like probably the Barcelona chair, like any classic piece of design, any classic furniture piece, they've probably duped it. My personal favorites, I actually have a few pieces. So I have the Clam chair, which you can see back there. Can you, maybe you can see it? There it is, there she is. There's a little Clam chair. Didn't think it was really my taste. I was like, do I get this? But I really thought it was pushing the boundaries of what I really loved, and I really like it. It comes in a sheepskin or a faux sheepskin. I have it in the faux. I really like it. It's a classic Danish design. You might look at this and go, this seems a bit funky for Nick, and you would be correct. I was a little nervous, but I got it and I love it. It definitely pushes my boundaries, which I enjoy. The coffee table I got is absolutely stunning. The stone is fabulous. Now, when I say it's inspired by, so Norm Architects, basically this one, basically the same dimensions from Norm Architects when they did it, $2,895 US. Versus if you go with Eternity Modern, $1,595. that's a big savings, okay? So I really like that Eternity Modern is inspired by, but also makes these pieces that are actually maybe a little bit more affordable. But let's make no mistake here when it comes to what you're actually buying. What I don't like is when dupes try to say that the same thing and they're like really, really, really not. Like, it's one thing if you're gonna make some compromises, but like, there's compromises and there's compromises, you know? This is real stone. I have it in the Calcutta Viola. Every person that walks into my apartment, anytime I post this table on Instagram, everybody goes, that table is stunning. Everybody loves the table. It's gorgeous. It's a Calcutta Viola. It's a honed finish, which if you don't know, that's like a matte. It's not like the polished glossy sort of finish. I love that it's honed because that's personally my taste. I just generally like honed stones more than I like polished ones. It's a basic plinth coffee table. It is heavy to the point where, like, this is a solid table, y'all. When I had to try to get it under the rug, it took 3 people to tip it just enough to get a rug under it. Like, that's how heavy and real this table is. For $1,600 US, I think that they're making a beautiful, gorgeous designer piece a lot more accessible for people. I love everything that they do. I don't have a ton of experience with their fabrics, but I can definitely vouch for their stone. I have a couple of trays from them as well that they sent me that I absolutely adore as well. So really beautiful pieces. Definitely a little bit more expensive, so this isn't cheap, like I said, but going to be cheaper than what you might find for something similar quality at other retailers. And that's what I think is their sweet spot that they're just nailing right now. Okay, next up on my list is going to be Lock and Mortice. Lock and Mortice is a beautiful, gorgeous woodworking studio, shop, whatever you want to call them. Just fantastic. Basically, this isn't really like your typical retailer where you just click add to cart and it shows up like Amazon Prime the next day, okay? That's not what we're talking about here. Usually they do either like, they'll do black walnut, they do lots of different types of oak, they offer lots of different shapes of different types of furniture. Like the Deca console is really beautiful. It's like a really brutalist, sort of amazing, beautiful furniture piece. But then you get to select your wood species that you're looking for, and it comes with so many different types. For example, you have like standard white oak, clear white oak, natural white oak, drift white oak, weathered white oak, Nordic white oak. You get the idea. You're naming all your different types of oak and ash and walnut, and they basically take all these different types of finishes, and then you can customize and put in a quote, which then they will hand make and build from scratch for you and then ship it to you. So this stuff is beautiful. This is like, you know, if you can find maybe a local woodworker, awesome. But, you know, this is the next best thing, or maybe even like better. I don't even know. It's real people that are making, there are craftspeople that are amazing at what they do. And they've got these interesting forms of coffee tables and console tables and dining tables, and mostly tables to be honest with you, but lots of different things. And then you can actually just customize your wood species and then they build it all for you from scratch. They also do a lot of different customizations. This is a place where you reach out and have a conversation with the retailer before they build you exactly what you want. So again, this is not your, I'm gonna get a dining table to fit my Airbnb, and if somebody scratches it, well, I'll just get a new one in a year. That's not what we're doing here. This is like classic pieces that you will not only hold with you for years and years and maybe your whole life, but you pass down to others as well. Gorgeous, gorgeous works of art. Love all their stuff. Okay, next up on my list is gonna be Berbere Imports. I'll be honest, I have never been to Berbere Imports. They are based in Los Angeles. I've never been to the place, but I have extensively looked at all their stuff online. I would love to go, but I don't know. I don't really wanna go to LA, you guys. Like, is it just me? LA always just feels like it. Like, I look at Google Street View and I'm like, it just looks like one big strip mall. Like, you know what I mean? Sorry if you're from LA, but I have a feeling even people from LA don't seem to mind making fun of LA, so whatever. No apologies. I haven't been. I probably should go, but I haven't yet. Berbere Imports. Their stuff is like vintage. These are pots and stools and things that are very weathered. These are very old. These are pieces that are imported, obviously that's the name, brought into Los Angeles, and then you can go check out their web warehouse or shop online and buy some of these gorgeous pieces. Here's what I love about what they do. It's like the real thing. These are things that are very old. These are antique pieces as opposed to faux distressed stuff at HomeSense, which as you all know is not my jam. I love that about them. I also think if you're going for a little bit more of an organic modern style, a Japandi style, some sort of organic looking style where you want to take some of those clean lines, those sort of everything is just you know, super clean and straight and flush, and you're just looking to like add a little bit of a rustic organic element into a space. I think there's no better way to do it than something like some of these gorgeous terracotta or limestone pots or planters that they have here at Berbere Imports. That seems to be sort of the kind of look that is very popular right now. And if you are seeing some of these photos online and you're like, yep, this is what I want my home to look like, and you're looking for some of these antique pieces, This is probably the best and most well-known one that's out there. Olive Atelier is another one that I see a lot of people talk about. I don't have a lot of experience with. I don't own pieces from either, to be completely honest. I would love to, but I don't yet. Again, when I inevitably go, fine, and make it to LA, I'll definitely go, and I'll probably throw in my carry-on. But until then, here we are. Just really great at achieving that very sort of specific look. Or maybe not, maybe you wanna go in a completely different eclectic direction, in which case I love that for you. This is definitely just adding that history and that sort of rough texture that is just really going to make a space look a little bit more lived in and less sort of clean and polished, which is so often what can happen when a place is maybe a little bit too kind of over-designed. Okay, next up on my list is gonna be Montana Labelle. Montana Labelle is a company that I've admired for a very long time. I really, really like their stuff. Eternity Modern, as I said, they got some really beautiful little marble dishes, like catch-alls and plates and things, and they do a really great job. Montana Labelle, this is like their sweet spot. This is like what they do. Now, they do a lot of other stuff. You know, they sell linens and whatever, but what they're really known for is their marble. So most of it is gonna be a honed finish, like I mentioned earlier, but it's gonna be those catch-alls, it's gonna be those bowls, those dishes, those plates, those things that you can use as decor pieces, whether you're gonna be layering to create a really beautiful little vignette, or you want something functional on your nightstand, or maybe in your hallway when you walk in the front door and you want a place to put your keys and whatever. These little bowls and catch-alls, but you wanna take them and make them more than just functional, but you wanna actually make them also beautiful and aesthetic and work with the rest of your space, which of course I love marble, so this tickles my fancy. So that's what these guys are really good at. They sell a lot of stuff, but like, to be honest, this is what they're really well known for. And I think some of the shapes and the craftsmanship that really goes into some of these pieces are beautiful. You can buy them online. I think you can get samples as well if you want to like test out and see some of their marbles in person and make sure they're going to work for your space. But they're honestly really, really stunning. And this is kind of their bread and butter. And that's if I were to buy something from Montana Labelle, which they're like $300 a dish. So I don't have one, then I would probably go with something like these little, beautiful bubble dishes and things like that. They're just really beautiful and interesting. And again, these are luxurious, gorgeous materials that will just always look good because I'm sorry, nature always looks good because she does it best. I've said it here before and I'll say it again. So that's it for me for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Thanks again to Shopify, by the way, for sponsoring this video. Again, some of the stores that are here actually run on Shopify. Could you imagine that? Love them, love the platform. Feel free to sign up for your demo down in the description. And all these retailers, let me know. Do you like these retailers? Have you bought anything from them? Let me know, comment below. And of course, if you don't like my taste and think that all these retailers aren't really your fancy, well, you just, keep that constructive feedback to yourself. Thanks a lot. I will see you all in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.